Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of your weekly State of Affairs program here on QTV, Gambia, broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Alu Sise and it's now time for your weekly State of Affairs program. Well, this week I'm joined by a man who perhaps I can say understand all the roads in this country. So I even call him Mr. Asphalt because he has been very busy crossing across the country, inspecting roads and bridges and all whatnot. My guest this week is Mr. Ibrahim Silla, who is the Gambia's Minister of Works, Transport and Infrastructure. Honorable, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the State of Affairs program this week.
Thank you so much, and I thank you for inviting us to your program.
Like I said, you've been very busy. Just crossing the country, inspecting roads to make sure everything is in place. What's your frank assessment in terms of, road construction as far as the achievements and challenges faced?
Thank you so much. In context, we can say that we are doing extremely very well. Looking at the resource envelope of the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, within the standing of the overall budget allocations that is allocated to the various sectors of the country. And also, if you look at our delivery and achievements, we can say that we are doing very well. But that is also within a context of a situation where we are operating within a resource-constrained framework of the Gambia. And that for a very long time, since 2018, 2019, many of the roads that we have been doing are actually been funded from the local budget by the government of the Gambia. Yes, some of the roads like the Hakalang, like the Lamenkoto Pasamas, and also the URR roads and bridges projects were funded by the partners. But apart from those ones, many of the roads that we are doing now, I can say 99% of the roads that we are doing now are actually directly and fully funded by the Gambia government.
And in terms of progress, which roads will you say, there have been progress, and also which roads will you say perhaps, you are not really impressed? Because I know you've been constantly, being in the provinces and even in the Greater Banjul area inspecting roads. At some point, you even go with the president.
Yes, okay. Let's start with the provincial roads. First with the Hakalang. Okay. I want to take this opportunity to announce that the Hakalang Roads project is actually now completed, and that we are going to very soon take over the project. Like the road project will be handed over to us as a government, and that very soon His Excellency the President will announce a date to inaugurate that particular project, which is about 87 kilometers of roads crisscrossing from one end of the Nyomis into Jokadu in the North Bank region of the Gambia. And we also are making significant progress in the current road projects that we are doing in the CRR North, especially in the Reneru, Karantaba going to Fitifla, which is about 26 kilometers. And then we are also doing another road from Carol Wharf coming to Njao, which is in the Nyanija constituency, which is about 16 kilometers. And then we also have another stretch of road from Kunting coming all the way to Lamenkoto.
That's in Nyani?
That is in, not in Nyani per se. Okay. Is in Sami.
Sami, okay.
In the Sami constituency, which is about another 13 kilometers. So those roads, we are very certain that by the grace of God, we will actually complete those ones in December of this year.
How about the Kabada roads?
Well, the Kabada roads, we are making significant progress in those ones as well, because the project's supposed to last for 4 years. is 101 kilometers of roads. But the contractor, which is the Chinese company that built the Basay Roads projects, the Basay Roads and Bridges projects, actually is promising that within the 20-30 months, window, they should be able to finish. And if you look at that particular road, we have 11 different roads traversing the different parts of the Cabadas, and they have started work in all the areas, and almost all the roads are on base final level, which means that what is left is to do the culverts, the drainage works, and then we do the sealing. So we are very hopeful that within the first to second quarter of 2026, that would also likely be finished. And
coming back to the Greater Banjul area, the
Greater Banjul area,
kilometer,
yes, the 50 kilometer, that's where we have the challenge, because and that is understandable, because in the urban area, unlike the rural area, people have already settled in the urban area. The water and electricity pipes have already been laid. The utilities, like the telecoms, their cables have also been laid. In most cases, people have already encroached on the road corridor. So you have to do 3 major things before you can even start the roads. First, you have to relocate the supplies and the services that are on the roads, like the electricity poles, the water pipes, and also the telecoms cables. And then you also have to demolish. In most cases, in many of these places, you have to demolish to have the acceptable standard of, the width that you need for the road. For example, here, the main road itself takes about 7 meters. Shoulders, which are the walkways, take 1.5 meters on either side, which is like 10 meters in total. Now, if you want to also factor in some areas, the space for electricity poles, the space for water cables, and also telecom services, you take maybe another 50 centimeters or 50 or more of those spaces to make sure that you have at least, 11 to 12 meters overall to be able to do a proper road. And that's where, in most cases, the challenge is, because in most cases, the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC, will tell you that most of their water cables or water pipes have been laid like decades ago. They may not have the actual drawings of where some of these pipes are. So you'll just be digging, and then you come across a pipe or an underground electricity live cable. So you have to relocate those ones first, and then you can begin proper work. So that is one challenge. The second challenge is that because these are heavily built areas, the haulage time, that means, for example, where you take the laterite from in the furnace, in some cases beyond block to your work site, takes a lot of time. With heavy traffic from Brikama coming all the way to this part of the country, it means then that you will not be able to have that efficiency ratio to be able to do maybe 10 trips a day. It's not even possible. For example, if you leave your work site to go to block just for one trip, it takes you a minimum of 45 minutes to 1 hour. By the time you come back again, it's another 1 hour. So during the day, you can say that you'll spend about 2 hours on one trip. Most likely you are going to make not more than 6-7 trips a day. So, and to be able to be very effective, in constructing, roads, especially in the urban, in our country, you need to have the bore pits where you get the laterites from, not more than 500 meters or 1 kilometer at the very most. So that is why in the rural areas it is always very fast, because it's just a matter of a few meters from the roadside. They get the laterite, and then one truck can do at least 20 trips a day.
Like you said, I mean, we all acknowledge that under the current government, they have really done well in terms of constructing roads. I mean, at some point, I called the president Mr. Infrastructure. It's like he believes so much in infrastructure. I mean, but when it comes to the issue of quality of work, many people, including myself, tend to question, I mean, the quality of work, especially when it comes to the drainage system. Sometimes when it rains, the roads float, not because it's not good, but because maybe the drainage system, there is no exit point for the rainwater and all those things. So what are you doing to ensure that these things are really taken care of? Because, I mean, I know as a minister, I don't think it is your wish to see roads being constructed just for them to dilapidate in the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know whether you have been observing what the ministry has been doing since the start of the construction of the 50 kilometers of roads and the new OIC highway. Wherever we are doing these roads, they are accompanied with the construction of drainage, proper drainage. But, you know, here is the problem. I mean, in the Greater Banjul area alone, we have an estimated kilometers of nearly 800 or so of roads that should be done, you know, in the whole of the Greater Banjul area. Now, when we were doing the OIC, we were able to construct 50 kilometers, in addition to other roads that were constructed by the National Road Authority as part of their maintenance project. And all these roads, most of them have drainage, except probably the NRA maintenance roads. However, the problem is that because these are the few roads that have drainage, all the other roads where the roads are not properly done or there is no construction activity at all, water will flow from those ends to these roads that are already done. So the roads will be overwhelmed. The drainage systems will be overwhelmed. And that is why you can see a lot of water on these roads. The good thing is that the government of His Excellency President Adam Abba conducted a proper study called the Greater Banjul Drainage System.
Oh, okay.
This has been done and costed. And the roads that we have done under the 50 kilometers are part of that drainage system, that the master plan drainage system that has been done, waiting for funding. So the drainage system is a big priority now for the government, and we are thinking that even if we have not done the roads, if we can fix the drainage problems in many of these areas, then water will flow, you know, properly. And then even if we've not done the road in those areas, at least water will be channeled to places where they are supposed to go. And then, you know, at the right time, when funds are available, then we can start another window of road construction projects.
Okay. Honorable Minister, I mean, we will come back. I mean, we'll go with a short break, and when we return, the discussion continues. You're watching QTV State of Affairs.
Orders for locutions, so my data's class. Soon you boss, soon you month, everything is class. We innovate, orders for local, you top a dinga, Pakistanu. Kill cells, soon you boss, you fit in the best. Highly discounted, what do you best? Noom to the summer, data's class. Take it internet, you want you go to sue for sue. Mko summer, data's class, yeah. Kill shell bond, but cheaper than free. Ikodi, mko price all for never. 300 MB, $20. 1.5 GB, $50. 4 GB, $140. 10 GB, $250. Usually bundle jungle ngeni angana ko anro no YouTube. TikTok sumadu jati Instagram WhatsApp do Facebook. Namul Sunyumon Sunyu summer data splash. Utama dete, utama dete, utama star 303 hash and choose option 7 to activate your QCell summer data splash. We innovate, others follow QCell summer data splash. Soon you boss, soon you month, everything is class. We innovate, others follow kunyu tapadinga vakastalu. QCell soon you boss, you fit in the best. Highly discounted, what do you best? Noom to the summer data splash. Take the internet, the one you go see for soon.
Mko summer data splash here. QCell bon, but cheaper than free.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. You're watching QTV State of Affairs program here on QTV. My name is Aliou Cisse and my guest this week is Mr. Ibrahim Asila, the Gambia's Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. Honorable Minister, you were talking about the issue of the drainage issue that is affecting most of these roads. I mean, how soon are we going to have this plan being implemented? Because you're talking about funding.
Yeah.
So what happens if there's no funding?
We are discussing with various partners, international support agencies, and also the Ministry of Finance to see what can be done quickly, to intervene, because now is an urgency. Not only because the roads need to be fixed, but because we need to create waterways. And unfortunately, because people have settled on a lot of waterways in the greater Banjul area, I mean, the way we settle, actually was never planned. So therefore, this drainage system is extremely very important that it is done to really serve as an alternative to the existing problem that we have.
And what lesson have you learned working with the physical planning moving forward? I mean, I believe if there was a proper, planning, you will have this challenge as we speak.
Yeah, this is like an aged problem in this country. Since First Republic to now, we have been grappling with this problem. And I think there is now an urgent need for proper and urgent urban planning mechanisms to be put in place to ensure that if people are to settle in places, they follow the acceptable standards of settlements, and that proper roads are created, the right of way is created, and all the other things that will make those places properly, inhabitable.
So how do you engage, local people when constructing these roads, just to make sure you are able to minimize, the impact that it will have on their, social, economic, activities? Well,
the social plans are always part of the road construction projects. For example, before you start any work, you engage the community. In the rural areas, for example, we go through the governor, the chiefs, and the alkalolu. In the urban areas, sometimes we use the local MPs or the alkalolu in the respective areas, and then also the community heads. Especially in areas where you have very strong village development committees. So we go through those ones. But also we do also one-to-one engagements, especially for those properties that are affected, to be demolished. First they will come, put the number of meters needed from your property, and then they will engage you, and then proper documentation is done, and the evaluation process, is done to value the property and what has been affected, from the road work.
Compensate them?
Yes, for compensation. Okay. All the projects that we are engaged in, compensation is an important component of the work.
And in terms of awarding these contracts, how transparent is the process? Because many people tend to doubt, the credibility and the transparency in the entire, contracts awarding to these contractors?
Well, we follow the acceptable standard laid down by the Gambia Agency for Public Procurement, GPPA.
Oh, GPPA, yeah, GPPA.
And first, you do the tender with a detailed description of what you want to do. and companies are, and this is open tender in most cases. Although in some cases we also do restricted tender based on how fast we want some of these works to be done. But in most cases, especially for the EPC projects and other roads that we have been implementing, we do open competitive tender. Bidders will, companies will apply, and then, we go for the most responsive bidder. And in procurement, it is not only the most responsive bidder does not necessarily have to be the one with the lowest, amount, because sometimes lowest amounts can also be that they underbid, and then they will not be able to implement the project. But so far for me, I know that these are advertised in local newspapers, on our website, and also in social media, so that whoever is interested can come and apply.
So has there been any instance where a particular contractor is penalized or perhaps failing to meet, the contract agreement?
Yes, we do encounter some of those issues. When they happen, there are appropriate clauses in the constitution, in the contracts that actually take care of those ones, and we do apply them to the latter. There are default clauses in the contracts that we do rely on, but in some cases also, the default or delay could not necessarily or entirely be the fault of the contractor. It could be us because of late payments or because of late issuance of commencement order for them to start the work. So if your commencement order, for example, in the project procurement document, you can say that we want to finish this work from the time of awarding the contract to, say, end within, say, 2 years. But you will see that even when you award the contract, the commencement order can take maybe 2-3 months before that is done. So that is also counted within. So that may not be entirely the fault of the contractor. Sometimes
is that the case with the Hakalang Road? Because I know when the foundation was laid in 2019, if I'm right, it was agreed the project will be completed by 2 years.
Yes, well, the Hakalang, there have been a myriad of issues.
Okay.
Some of them entirely the fault of the contractor, some at least the government. Let me say that Hakalang is a very difficult project because this is one area where the water table is very high. The first design that was done was to do a double surface, but after the first stretch of, say, 6 kilometers was done, we realized that it was not going to last long, so we had to go for the option of doing it asphalt.
And that's what we are seeing on the screen.
Yes,
right
that's
now.
what we are seeing now,
yeah.
the Hakalang.
Yeah.
And because of that, you also have a problem of getting the proper resources, the right resources in terms of, laterite, quality laterite in that stretch or in that area. In the contract, it was stated that you don't have to travel more than 5 kilometers radius to be able to get laterite. But when we did the headhunt for borrow pits, we could not get proper laterite in many of those areas. So you see that the contractor had to be traveling all the way to Badibu to be getting proper laterite, quality laterite. That's number one. Number two, while the Hakalang project was signed, the COVID also struck. So for some months, for nearly almost 6-7 months, there was no proper mobilization, proper work on site. That was also a problem. And with COVID also came with shifting of priorities to the real cause of pandemic and the preventative measures that were put in place, focusing on saving lives. So the budgets were reprioritized, and then spending was more focused on saving the lives of the people of this country and protecting people also from, getting COVID and then, getting sick and things like that. So the priorities also shifted within that period. Now, on the part of the contractor also, there was this problem of having to travel for longer, haulage, distances to be able to get the laterite. And then also at some point, because remember that the granite, which is basalt,
Yeah.
and also bitumen that we use a lot for road construction could not be sourced from this country. We have to rely on Senegal, the suppliers in Senegal. It also happened that after COVID, Senegal also had accelerated its road construction project works. So priority was given first to their companies, understandably.
We are neighbors.
Yeah, when you are competing for this type of thing, it is understandable that you will give priority to yourself first, and then you can consider others. So all those, were part of factors that delayed, and at some point also, there were resource issues, funding issues, not because we did not have the funds, but what was budgeted for was reprioritized to deal with COVID emergency. But alhamdulillah, we can say that all those are behind us now. Happily and thankfully, the construction works have been completed, and we are happy to announce that very soon, His Excellency, the President will announce the date for the launching.
Yeah, the other day I saw a huge delegation from Nyomi who crossed over to
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, I know the issue of access to roads is always on the table anytime he is on tour.
Yeah.
If there's one thing you should certainly expect from people is the issue of access to roads. I mean, what is the criteria in identifying which communities should benefit first?
Well, we have a number of issues that we consider. First and foremost, access to basic services like health, like education, like markets, and also other essential, areas where there is important trading activities going on or agricultural activities, because these are essential. A community may be small, but they are an important access lifeline to a health center or to a major borderline where there is a lot of trading activity, and also there is a lot of economic activity, or there is a major school in the area that people have to access, or in the whole community of that area, probably for the past 60 years or so, they've never had any access, or road. As a result, government's priority is to ensure that they also have access to roads so that, the economic development initiatives being implemented by the government can be fast-tracked and be supported.
Example is Hakalang and Kabada.
Yes, exactly. and Hakalang is a very important road.
Many had doubted
because
that.
It's a very historic, area. This is where we have the Kunta Kinte, island. We have the Jufres. And I can say that many people in the United States probably came to know more about the Gambia because of the book written by Alex Haley called The Roots, which featured Kunta Kinte, who was claimed to have been captured from the Gambia and taken to the United States during the Atlantic slave trade. So having that area completely neglected for the past 55 years, I think was something that was totally sad. And it is really refreshing to see that now it takes, just not more than 30 minutes to drive from Barra on a very good first-class road and reach Albreda, Jufre, and then access these very important historic sites. And very soon, government is also coming up with a very good project. In fact, it has started under the Tourism Resilience Project, where they are going to rehabilitate, parts of that island. And the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure is also working with partners to rejuvenate the river transport program,
Exactly,
so that people can be given a choice either to access Jufre by land or by river. So we want to thank His Excellency the President and his government for the foresight.
Infrastructure.
Yes. Your friend, huh?
Exactly, Mr. Infrastructure. He's
Yes.
doing so much in infrastructure.
But you see,
Just to justify your point, I remember interviewing something Cham who owns a hostel or hotel in Albreda,
Albreda, yeah.
sometime in 2015.
Yeah.
And then he told me that the government wasn't fair to them because,
Yeah.
they use that place to market destination Gambia, yet the road was just horrible.
yeah, but now we can say
yeah.
that all those things are, being addressed now.
Yeah.
And, for me, even when I went to Jufre for the first time, I've been going there, but I never knew that Alex Haley built a mosque there. So that is one important area that can even be properly marketed. And then, put the Gambia on a very strong, footing in terms of people knowing what has happened in Jufre from Kunta Kinte's time to now. So really, I think government has done a phenomenal job, and people are happy in that area.
It's evidence, people are saying.
Exactly.
Hakalang road, it's evidence.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very good road, very important road.
Yeah. But aside from that, when should we expect the entire 50-kilometer route to be completed? I also understand most of the projects are given to PABI4.
No. Actually, the 50 kilometers is divided into two lots.
Okay.
Lot 1, which is, I think, 23 kilometers, and Lot 2, 27 kilometers. But overall, it's just 50 kilometers divided into two lots. The difference is not more than 4.5 kilometers between the two. So it is not definitely right or correct to say that, the other contractor is favored. No. It's based on the location of the roads, because we divided the roads into two. One that is based in areas where the KMC is most affected, and then the other one, the West Coast region. Naturally, the lot 2, which is PABI4's roads, have longer stretch than the KMC ones.
It's good, Honorable Minister. You mentioned the issue of KMC. I'm not sure whether this is something you'd like to talk about. And
yes,
your name has been mentioned as being one of the key individuals who is influencing NRA to block KMC from constructing roads. As someone who's been mentioned, what's your reaction to this?
Well, my only reaction is that they are fabricated, cheap talks. In the first place, the former managing director of the National Road Authority came out and totally debunked this, claim as false and a total figment of the might of those people that are saying these things. Look, any work that any partner does in terms of road works, we are just reducing the number of kilometers that we have out there waiting for us as a government. And if KMC wants to do roads and they have their funds, why would the minister go and stop that? But what we said is, whatever you are doing, follow the process that is in your best interest. Doing roads in urban area is completely different from doing roads in the rural area. I think you heard the mayor saying that we said they should, break down people's compounds and then all kinds of things. He knows what he's talking about, because that's where the cost is. You see, all this talk that some of the critics are making about the roads being expensive, overpriced, they don't know the opportunistic costs, involved in doing some of these roads. Yes, roads are opportunistic enablers of national development, but they are very, very expensive. And doing roads in urban area, it is not a child's play. If they have the funds, let them go ahead. Who is stopping them?
But some
Let them just follow.
some,
Let them just follow the right process and then start their work and then stop cheap talk. This is, you see, it is too cheap to be going to radio and accuse people. The work is waiting for them. If they have the money, let them go and start the work and follow the process.
But they said you are playing politics with these roles because,
Yes,
it's
because
an opposition-led council. That's why you are doing all these things.
But this is what I'm
You want the
saying.
credit to go to.
This is what I'm saying. There is another opposition-led council in Brikama. They are doing their work. Have we ever interfered in them? And when those people were to start the work, they came to NRA. They had a good discussion with them. Right now, we are doing some maintenance works in the West Coast region, especially in Brikama, in front of the police station, from the market end, and also in Newtown Road. In some cases, the council workers come there to support, because for us, we don't see them as competitors. You don't. What power do they have that they can compete with the national government? So it is not. It is just cheap talk. If you have your money, because all what I know is that KMC has contracted a company that they are working with. So far, apart from the drainage work that they said has started, nothing has kicked off. And that's the simplest thing. It's so simplistic and cheap to go and accuse somebody. We don't have time for this. We have a nation to build. They can go to any platform and shout about Ibrahim Asila's name. Does that, help them do anything from the work that they are going to do?
And away from that, Honorable Minister, let's now talk about the Sanyang deep sea port. I mean, something
phenomenal project.
Yes, many have hailed it as a phenomenal project.
Yes.
Some say it's a dream development, while others perceive it as a disaster in the making, considering the impact it will have on the community of Sanyang and Tujereng as far as losing their lands and all those things are concerned. But to start with, why do we need a second seaport when actually we have Banjul Seaport?
Well, to be honest, I think let's start with the critics first, because many of those people that are saying that we have taken the land of Sanyang, the people of Sanyang, I think they are badly misinformed.
Really?
Yes, because we have not taken anyone's land. Where the deep sea port is, through negotiations with the community of Sanyang, with the VDC of Sanyang, and the Council of Elders of Sanyang, that land, in fact, was identified by the community itself. Apart from maybe 2 or 3, properties that have been developed within the project affected area, it is like an empty land.
How many hectares are we talking about here?
I cannot specifically say the real measurement, but it's a huge land.
Okay.
It's a huge land that we have looked at, and it is something that is going to benefit this country.
Can we estimate maybe over 100 hectares?
Well, I don't
Because
want to
it's
go
from the
into a
beach
guess
going
game.
down towards Hauba End.
No, I don't want to go into a guess game.
Okay. Okay.
But what I can tell you is that it is something that we are satisfied with, that we are happy with, coming from the community itself. And we will continue to work with the community, because it is in the interest of us to see that we work with the community for the benefit of all of us, that this project is implemented seamlessly. Now, coming to your question, why we need a deep sea port. You all know that Banjul Port has been constrained by a number of environmental factors. First, we have serious problem of dredging, which means that every now and then the channel has to be dredged to even allow 9.5 meter vessels to be able to use the channel. And that it is predicted that within the next few decades, some parts of Banjul may crave in as a result of sea level rise. The maintenance cost associated with maintaining the port of Banjul is extremely very, very, very high. Therefore, it is important for government to also think out of the box, because this is a growing economy. The population is getting bigger. Third countries are relying on the Gambia for the re-export of their goods from the port of Banjul. Now, if we cannot have the mother vessels, the big vessels that can call on the port of Banjul, then it is a problem, because what we have, the situation that we have right now is that some of these monster vessels will be calling on ports like Casablanca, Dakar, or Brussels and other places, and then smaller vessels, what we call feeder vessels, will be going and then bringing them to Banjul. That has been adding up on the cost of doing business in this country. It has never made business cheap in this country, because whatever cost associated with bringing any good to this country will, of course, be added on you and I, the consumer.
So what is the concession period?
Well, the concession period is 30 years.
30 years. Okay.
6 years in Banjul and 24 years in Sanyang. But cumulatively, because while they are operating in Banjul,
okay,
for the first 6 years they are also developing Sanyang. So it's concurrent. It's going
so
to be
why Albera Group? I mean, why? How were they identified?
Because they were the most successive bidder.
Are you so honorable?
Yes, I mean, if you have alternative to what I'm saying, you can bring it, because I'm giving you the facts. When we went into this process, government had to invoke one of the most important issues of the idea of having even to go into the open tender, which is the strategic fit. And that strategic fit was government could say, okay, because the port of Banjul has all these constraints identified, now as a country, why not we think out of the box and have a deep sea port? And when this deep sea port issue was floated, Albarak was the only one that was willing to come in and invest there. Others were even approached, to come in and then fund the gap that was identified, but they did not accept.
They didn't want to take the risk.
They didn't want to take the risk, and this entire project, all the risk associated with this project, are taken over by Albarak.
So was there any background check on Albarak? Because I've read reports where
my dear, we are a government. How do you expect us to have a partner that we did not do background check on? Forget about the propaganda that you see, because
you are here, I'm giving you the opportunity to respond to some of these things that's being said.
All the noise that have been said about everybody in this country, about all the things that we are doing in the Gambia, about all the work that we are doing in the Gambia, if you think that we have to listen to everything, do you think we'll be where we are?
Yeah, because they said the open tender was just a formality, but already Albarak was already identified.
As if there is no process in place.
Yeah, there could be a process, but already, I mean, there is someone that is certain that is, that's just a formality.
How?
Well, that's what many people believe.
But is that a fact?
Well, it's their opinion.
It's their opinion. So you want to, opinion is different from fact.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody is
Exactly.
entitled to an opinion. But facts are sacred.
Yeah.
So you don't mix facts with opinion. That is their opinion, fine. Anybody can just go into your room, eat your burger, and go to the Facebook Live and then do an opinion. So does that constitute a fact?
Not really, not really. So was there any feasibility study looking at the impact of this project?
Every project that we are involved in, of course, is carried with the attendant feasibility study.
Is this made public, the feasibility study?
No, the feasibility studies will be made public because, you have to work. There are stages within the feasibility study programs. For example, when you are bidding, you come with your pre-feasibility concept. Now, when you are a successful bidder, then that is when you go into what you call detailed designs and detailed feasibility. So, I mean, and that is where a lot of people are mixing a lot of things. The detailed designs and detailed feasibility comes in, that's where you go with the geotechs and a whole lot of things that you have to do. So that is what is happening now. Because they are the successful bidder based on the project concept and also based on the document that was floated around. So now the pre-feasibility is out now. They are going now into proper detailed feasibility and designs. You can see that the project has been out in the social media. People have been talking about the new deep sea port. So all those are part of the design. So how those designs now will be zeroed in on the available land is what is coming to be done now.
Well, viewers, you're watching QTV State of Affairs. I'm your host, Aliou Cissé, and my guest this week is Honorable Ibrahim Asila, the Gambia's Minister of Works, Transport and Infrastructure. We'll go with another short break, and when we return, discussion continues.
Welcome to IHT Gambia, your gateway to world-class IT education and hands-on training. At IHT, choose from diploma programs tailored to today's in-demand tech fields, introduction to IT, database administration with data analytics, advanced software development, cybersecurity, multimedia, graphic design and digital marketing. AI and machine learning, Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA, Master Industry Leading Tools and Languages, Python, Java, Oracle, Cisco, Microsoft Visual Studio, and more to gain real-world skills that top employers seek. And right now, enjoy special discounts of $4,000 to $10,000, depending on your chosen program. Visit us at 55 Karoba Avenue, Fejora, Kanefing Municipality. Call 346461 4526974 6311320 or learn more at ihtgambia.gm. IHT Gambia, connecting talent to opportunity.
Hello viewers, welcome back. That advice you've just seen, they are the newest sponsors of QTV State of Affairs program, and if you want to be part of, sponsor this program, you can visit QTV. Honorable, we mentioned the issue of the Sanyang deep sea port. I remember the president in his address during the foundation of the laying, he urged them to embrace, this project with a positive mindset.
Yeah, and that's what we want also, because no matter what, this project has also put Sanyang on the map already. Anyone who never knew Sanyang before, because of this project and because of the wide publicity that it generated and it will continue to generate, will now come to know this part of the country as a village or now a community that is situated along the Atlantic coast and where the Gambia's deep sea port is situated, where the bulk of Gambia's business activities will now be conducted. So that is huge, that is phenomenal.
And speaking at the same event, the president also made an announcement for a new international airport as part of his plans before leaving power. What exactly is driving this push for a new airport? We already have one. Why do we need another
It's very important that we modernize the Banjul International Airport, because the overall drive of the government and the desire of the government is to make Banjul a hub of air transport in West and Central Africa or within Africa. And this is doable because we are very close to Europe. From here, direct flight to London is 4 hours, 50 minutes, 5 hours maximum. To the United States is between 6-7 hours. To major destinations like Brazil probably is another 5-6 hours. In the Latin America, in the Southern America. So this is a very strategically located country. And also remember this is a choice destination for the hospitality industry, for the tourists that are coming here. Therefore, having a purposely built airport to serve that agenda, to serve that futuristic national development objective of the government, which is to make the Gambia a hub, it is critical that we act fast to ensure that we have an airport that is fit for purpose.
Who will finance it and under what terms?
No, we are going for a PPP.
Okay.
We have already announced it. It's in the papers out there. It's an open international tender. Bidders have started already buying the bid document.
Oh.
And the same process, just like we did with the port, it will also go through that process, and then, you know, at the end of the process, a winner will be announced.
But what does this tell about us as a country? It seems we cannot manage anything for ourselves.
Well, tell me one country in West Africa now, apart from the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau, that is having its port managed by the central government.
But we should be able to manage our airport.
No, but tell me one country in West Africa now that is even managing an airport of its own. Senegal is being managed by a concessionaire. Niger, concessionaire. Sierra Leone, a concessionaire. Ghana, Nigeria, and many other places. Even Guinea-Bissau, they are building the airport. And the same concessionaire that built Sierra Leone, Niger, and partly Senegal is the same concessionaire that is building Guinea-Bissau. So, you see, we have to be smart as a country. If not, what happened to us with the port is what is also going to happen to us with within the aviation, ecosystem.
Like the president would say, innovative financing?
Yes, innovative financing, but also using the people who have the expertise, the experience. Because you see, the business models have changed. Now, some people don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. I mean, governments don't have the capacity to compete with a well-financed, a highly experienced private sector like the Dubai Port World that is in Senegal. They have, the moment you place an order to bring in a container in Senegal, within their platform they can see, and then they can direct it in a manner that goods can reach Dakar quickly. We can do it, but at what cost? Now, I mean, these are the type of things that we are saying. This is the trend that is happening. And it is sad that the other side of the aisles has been trying to put this in the minds of the people that we have sold the port. We have mortgaged the port. Mortgage in what way?
Mortgage the Trans-Gambia Bridge.
Yes. But that is to them and their audience. People are seeing the improvements, people are seeing the dividends, and people are seeing the importance of why we should also do like it is happening in other parts of the world.
And Honorable, finally, time is up. Leadership is all about legacy. As the current Minister of Works, what exactly, will you want to be remembered for as, a Minister of Works?
No, my only legacy is that I am aligned to the agenda of the President to do infrastructure projects that are going to be long-lasting in this country, that will continue to have impact on the lives of the people. That's the only agenda. And that is the agenda of the President. That's what I'm aligned to. I don't have anything in mind to say that this is my legacy. I don't have a legacy that is different from what the agenda of the President is in terms of his development work. Yes, a minister is the one that is implementing on behalf of the President. So your personal legacy is not important anymore.
I understand that you go harsh on them when you're on this inspection.
Yes, we have to. We have to, because, remember also the President is highly informed about all his projects. And before you even tell him, it is already on his desk. So in such situations, you cannot be a lackadaisical minister. You have to be on top of things. You have to be jumping everywhere, and you have to be seen to be delivering. Because all these projects that we are doing, we have people that are out there to discredit the system, to discredit our work. Before, Hakalang was the hub.
Many doubted. Doubted
not only doubted, it was a hub for discrediting this government, because they were going there doing Facebook Live pictures, blah, blah, blah. But I challenge them to go there now. In fact, they will not go there because it's no longer their interest. They know a good job has been done, the work has been delivered, the people are happy, so their next agenda is the urban area where, even where we are not doing roads. You can see, I saw, one picture where they said our road has started being, completely, destroyed by a single rain. And when we did the fact checked, that is not even in this country. So that's the type of people.
That's the other side of AI.
Well, yes, that's the type of people that.
That's the other side of artificial intelligence.
For us, those type of disinformation, it's not even misinformation. Those type of disinformation is good for us because it is them and their credibility that is out there in the public record.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ibrahim Sila, the Gambia's Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure. He was my guest on this week's edition of the Weekly State of Affairs program. I was your host, Alusi. Do join us. Until then, thank you so much for watching.
Welcome to IHT Gambia, your gateway to world-class IT education and hands-on training. At IHT, choose from diploma programs tailored to today's in-demand tech fields, introduction to IT, database administration with data analytics, advanced software development, cybersecurity, multimedia, graphic design and digital marketing. AI and machine learning, Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA, Master Industry Leading Tools and Languages, Python, Java, Oracle, Cisco, Microsoft Visual Studio, and more to gain real-world skills that top employers seek. And right now, enjoy special discounts of $4,000 to $10,000 depending on your chosen program. Visit us at 55 Karoba Avenue, Fejora, Kanefin Municipality. Call 346461 4526974 6311320 or learn more at ihtgambia.gm. IHT Gambia, connecting talent to opportunity.